Da and Vo compounds. First, we're going to look at da. The first thing to note is that da is combined with a preposition in place of the prepositional phrase, and it refers to an inanimate object. So we're going to combine da with a preposition. And when we do that, it takes the place of the prepositional phrase. You'll see that in just a minute. So, because it's talking about an inanimate object, it can't be a person. So it has to be an it singular or a them plural. So when we combined da with a preposition, we will simply go ahead and put the words together. So if I said something is auf dem Tisch, something is on the table, auf dem Tisch, I can say something is on it. Now remember, Tisch is not a person. It is an inanimate object, so that's why I can use it. I will take the preposition auf and I will combine it with da. Now, because auf begins with an A and an A is a vowel, we have to add a buffer R. So if I said, mein Buch ist auf dem Tisch, my book is on the table, I can say, mein Buch ist da rauf. My book is on it. So you obviously have to understand the context of a sentence and know what the prepositional phrase is prior. But here, because auf begins with a vowel, I'm adding a buffer R. So da plus the preposition and then the buffer R. I can say, mein Buch ist auf dem Tisch. Es ist darauf. It is on it. So, zum Beispiel. Moment. Entschuldigung. Okay. So, ich arbeite mit dem Computer. So, I work with the computer. I work with it. Ich arbeite damit. Stellt den Teller auf den Tisch. He puts the plate on the table. Stellt den Teller darauf. And that's one, and I overemphasize the R, of course. The buffer R, because A is a vowel. So let's look at some examples of da compound. Oh, sorry. We'll look at the vos, and then we'll look at some examples. So vo, very similar, is when we're using questions. So once again, vo being a question word may be helpful to remember. So it's going to replace the prepositional phrase, once again, with using an inanimate object, so never a person. Even though we know vo as the question word where, in the context of a vo compound, it actually means what. So I'll show you what I mean when we look at the example. In addition, a vo compound, just like a da compound, if the preposition begins with a vowel, we have to add a buffer R. So all of this comes into play in the following statements and questions. So if I had the statement, ich bezahle viel Geld für die Reise. I pay a lot of money for the trip. For what do I pay a lot of money? So that's kind of where you're getting this this use of vo for what. So you're saying, for what? For what did I pay a lot of money? Oh, für die Reise, for the trip. So für begins with an F, so no buffer R is needed. However, an, ich denke an die Ferien, I'm thinking about the vacation or holiday. An is a preposition, so I need that buffer R. So, woran denkst du? What are you thinking about? Or on. So, da and vo. So let's dissect these a little further. Some example sentences with da compounds. Wir haben gestern einen guten Film gesehen. We saw a good film yesterday. Wir sprechen gerade darüber. So what's understood here is you're saying we immediately talked about it, referring back to the film. So da, über, sprechen über, to talk about. Über is a vowel, so I add a buffer R. about it. With a wo compound sentence. Worüber sprecht ihr gerade? Like, what immediately or right now are you talking about? Were y'all talking about? Wir sprechen gerade über den Film. So when you're asking a question, you can use the wo compound and then in the response, expand upon that. Once again, über is a vowel, so we have a buffer R. Just a few more to take a look at. Ich verstehe nichts von diesem Thema. Von. Ich verstehe nichts davon. So you take the preposition and then put da in front of it. No buffer R needed. Haben Sie etwas gegen diesen Film? Do you have something against this film? Haben Sie etwas dagegen? Do you have something against it? So gegen and then da. Compound. Wir haben für das rote Auto entschieden. Wir haben uns dafür entschieden. Preposition and then the da. Here's one that begins with a vowel. So, wir sprechen über das Buch. Wir sprechen darüber. So the buffer R between the vowel A and the vowel of the U umlaut. And one more. Wir freuen uns auf das Wochenende. Another one that begins with a vowel. So buffer R. Wir freuen uns darauf. Vielen Dank für die Aufmerksamkeit.